Welcome to Aging in Style with Lori Williams, the podcast all about finding the silver lining no matter what life throws your way. I'm Lori Williams, an award-winning senior living expert, author, educator, and caregiver to my husband, Mark. Join me as I share insights, tips, and personal stories to help you navigate the world of senior housing, discover ways to pay for care, advocate for your loved ones, and most importantly, learn how to thrive, not just survive, as you age. Hi, welcome to Aging in Style. Today, we are talking about falls. And I know if you listen to the podcast, we've talked about falls many times, but it's so important. And I have a personal story to add to falling. So that's what we're going to cover this week. All right. In my line of work, 20 years working in senior living, falls by far are the number one game changer. It's the call I get that I dread hearing someone has fallen, broken a hip, and now life has completely changed. We have to make some serious changes in most cases and move to independent living or assisted living. So I've seen what happens with falls, but this week it hit personally in my family. So I share a lot. If you listen to the podcast, I share a lot about my own family's journey because I'm right there with y'all. My mother is 86. She is in assisted living. We just moved her there. We moved her husband to memory care in August and then her into the assisted living. And he sadly passed in October. My mom, I really, at the time, kind of thought she was more independent living, but I am so glad she's in assisted living because as she has settled in there and things have happened because it's been very hard on her to lose her husband. Assisted living is where she needs to be. And so this was definitely proven to me the other night. So my mom did exactly what happens to so many of our clients. She fell during the night. She got up to go to the bathroom and she fell and she hit her head, we think, on the bed, like on the footboard. That part of the bed. We think she's not sure what happened, but she just remembers getting up to go to the bathroom and then she was down. And she hit her head hard enough that she needed 4 staples and also hit her hip. So they x-rayed and thankfully she did not fracture her hips. That's the good news. This could have been so much worse. So I'm very thankful that that's all that happened. She did not have a concussion. She was able to be in the hospital maybe 2 hours in the emergency room. And then my brother brought her back to her assisted living community. So here's the silver lining in all this is that she was in assisted living when this happened. And the caregivers responded beautifully. She was still conscious. Thankfully, she was able to pull the cord to alert them. And she said there were several of them in there. I think probably in 30 seconds, they were there taking care of her, calling 911. Could have been a very different or would have been a very different scenario had she still been in her home, caring for her husband who had dementia, pretty far advanced dementia. He would not have been able to call to get her help. What if she couldn't get to her phone? She did not wear a pendant or anything. So this could have been a really ugly situation where maybe it would have been the next day that we figured out something had happened to her. So I'm very thankful that she was not home alone because I think this would be a different conversation. And this is why I wanted to do this episode because this is just textbook. This is what happens as we age. And as heartbreaking as it is also preventable. Falls, not 100% of the time, but a lot of times falls can be preventable. So today we're going to talk about the number one cause of injury, hospitalization, and loss of independence among our older adults. And you guessed it, it's falls. We're going to walk through 5 major causes, 5 ways to prevent them, and then some tools and technology that can literally save a life. All right, let's get started with some very sobering facts. This is the reality check about falls. According to the CDC, more than 14 million adults over 65 fall every single year. And that's about 1 in 4. And I hate that statistic. I really do. Falls are the leading cause of injury and death among older adults. And about 37% of those falls cause an injury serious enough to require medical treatment. That was my mom the other night. She fell in that 37%. And this is the one that always gets me, that after a serious fall, half of older adults never regain their previous level of independence. And if that fall results in a hip fracture, 1 in 5 will die within the following year. Very sobering, awful stats. I don't want to scare you. It's just we all need that little wake-up call, because these aren't just numbers that I am spouting out. These are reflecting of our people, the people we love, our moms, our dads, our grandparents, our clients, our neighbors. And this week, these numbers, this was my mom. So I think it's important that we go into what causes falls. Because when you understand why, then you can fix it. So there's 5, I'd say the biggest culprits, the 5 top biggest culprits. And so number 1, nighttime bathroom trips. I've worked in senior living almost 20 years, and I can't tell you how many calls start with, Mom fell on her way to the bathroom during the night. I mean, it's number 1. It's classic. Why? Could be poor lighting, drowsiness, dizziness, and sometimes just in a rush. Need to get to the bathroom quick, trying not to have an accident, and maybe jumped up too quick, became lightheaded, and fell. Number 2, medications. A lot of prescription medications can cause dizziness, sedation, or confusion. So if your mom suddenly seems off balance, maybe it's her medication. Number 3, weakness and balance issues. When we stop moving and exercising our body, our muscles weaken very quickly, especially the older we are. And that loss of strength and balance can make even a short walk risky. Number 4, environmental hazards, throw rugs. If y'all listen to the podcast, you know I talk about throw rugs all the time. And yes, I love my throw rugs. I think they're lovely, but I don't have them in my house because my husband's in a wheelchair. But I go into many seniors' homes and there are throw rugs all over the place. Huge, huge tripping hazard. Cords, clutter, bad lighting, pets underfoot. All of these things are waiting to trip someone up. Number 5, vision and hearing changes. When your depth perception or your hearing goes, you can miss cues that help you to stabilize. So, most of the time, it's not just one big mistake. It can be a combination of a lot of little things. So a little weakness, a little darkness, a little dizziness, and then boom, you have a big fall. But there is some good news. So let's shift to that. Let's go to some good news, because I hate all doom and gloom. There are ways that you can absolutely prevent many of these falls. So we're going to talk about 5 simple life-saving steps that you can start today with your loved one. So I gave you the 5 biggest reasons. So here are the 5 ways we can prevent. Number 1, light it up. Add motion sensor nightlights in hallways and bathrooms. And I know I've given this advice many times, but it's so important. Keep the path to the bathroom clear. This one change alone can prevent thousands of falls a year. I had a lady who literally got out of bed and she slipped on her slippers and broke her hip. These things happen, y'all. We've got to make sure that the pathway is always clear. Number 2, build strength and balance. Encourage movement, whether that's just walking. And if you're out of shape and haven't walked much, just get up out of your chair and walk to the kitchen and walk back. I mean, start wherever you are and build up your strength. Chair yoga, Tai Chi. I mean, even just 15 minutes a day is going to help. If you live in an independent living or assisted living community, I can guarantee that there are chair exercise classes every day that you can go participate in. And maybe you feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to look dumb. No, don't you worry about that. You don't want to fall. So you go and do the exercises. Join in. Everyone starts somewhere. Everyone starts off not knowing what they're doing and thinking they look dumb, but they don't. So go exercise. And here's a big tip I give every family, and I said the same thing to my mom, and my brothers are making this happen. And I say my brothers, because if you don't listen to this, I don't want it to come across like I don't help take care of my mom, but I live in Texas, and my mom and my brothers live in Mississippi. And so they are there close to her and able to jump in and be there for her. I wish I were closer because I would want to be able to help as well, but that is just not feasible at this time. So ask the doctor to order physical therapy and or occupational therapy. Make a huge difference getting some exercise, checking their apartment or house, making sure that things are laid out in a good way, a way that it gives them a clear pathway. If they're using a walker, a physical therapist can make sure it is set up properly for them, the right height, that they are using it properly. I see a lot of people when I visit senior communities not using their walker correctly. They have it like way out in front of them instead of close in. So there's a lot of things to it. So you want to make sure that you're using this equipment properly. And here's the good news. Medicare covers it. And it's truly one of the best things that you can do after an illness or hospitalization or even a minor fall, or if you just feel like, you're really getting very weak, see if the doctor agrees, we'll order it, and then your Medicare will cover it. May only be 20 visits, but hey, that can make a really huge difference in strength and in confidence and coordination, and may help prevent the next fall before it happens. Another big thing I want to add is that I've seen people lose confidence and become afraid of falling. And when you start having that fear of falling, guess what? It leads to more falls. So I definitely think adding a little physical therapy or even occupational therapy can help with that. Number 3, review medications and vision. So ask your doctor, could these medications possibly be making me dizzy? Make sure that you are going for your annual vision checkups. I mean, that's another big one. If something's going on with your vision, that leads to falls. Hearing checks need to be up to date as well. Number 4, make your home safe. As I said earlier, get rid of those throw rugs. I know you love your throw rugs, but I don't want you to trip. Add grab bars in the bathroom, add non-slip mats, use sturdy shoes with good traction. Do not walk around with slippery socks. If you're going to walk around in socks, make sure you got the little grippy things on the bottom. And number 5, plan for emergencies. Have a fall alert system, a pendant, a smartwatch, or a motion sensor. And if your loved one is in an assisted living, make sure that the staff test their call systems regularly. Since some are battery operated, make sure the batteries are working, and it's okay for you to test it when you're there visiting. Let's talk a minute about technology and alert systems, because that's come a long way, and there are many great tools out there. There's smartwatches like the Apple Watch that can detect a fall and call emergency contacts. Sometimes it can be a little too complex for some seniors, so you might want to look at a more dedicated device like Medical Guardian or Philips Lifeline, anything with 24/7 monitoring, and even Alexa. I've shared before, I had a sweet dear neighbor who was in her 90s, and her son had set up an Alexa in her kitchen and in her bathroom. And one night she fell going to get some water, cracked her head, and she wasn't knocked out, thank goodness. She had her wits about her, and she was able to say, Alexa, call, I forgot her son's name, we'll just say David. Alexa, call David. Called him, and he was able to be there within 5 minutes and get her medical treatment. So Alexa can certainly work for many. And of course, for those in independent living or assisted living communities, make sure there's an in-room, like a pull cord or a wearable pendant. And like I said, test it. Don't assume it works. Make sure it works by testing it. When a fall happens, every minute matters. So you want to make sure that you have something set up so that you can get help right away. And also, I do want to add this. This is a perfect time. We're right here. Holidays are coming up. This is a great time when you are home visiting, maybe your mom, dad, grandparents, elderly aunt, whoever it may be, kind of go through and check these things in their home or in their independent or assisted living. Y'all throw those throw rugs away. They're going to get mad at you, but I'm just saying. Okay, so kind of reflecting on all this, I keep thinking back to my mom and having her fall and just like how scared I'm sure she was. I was scared when I got the call. But what really gave me such peace was knowing she was not alone, that there was someone there like immediately. And that's the difference a plan is going to make. So if she'd been home by herself, I mean, who knows? It could have been hours. It could have been the next day before she got help. So if you're listening to this podcast right now and you have aging parents living alone, please take this as a little like nudge from the universe to check on them, make sure that they have a plan and that they're doing okay. Walk, like I said, walk through their home, add a light if they don't have it, move those darn throw rugs, and just ask the hard questions. You know, what's the plan if you fall? We need to have a plan in place. We're going to do all the things to prevent it, but if you do fall, how are we going to have you communicate so we can get you help? Because we got to remember, y'all, falls don't just happen to other people. They happen to our people. It happened to my mom. So I'm going to give y'all a little homework, and this is like easy stuff to do. So I want you to take 10 minutes today or whenever you are home visiting and do a home safety walkthrough. Add those motion sensor night lights, check on their medications, check out their footwear, talk about an emergency alert device or Apple Watch, Alexa, whatever it may be. And if your loved one seems weak, off balance, they've been sick, they were in the hospital, whatever it may be, call the doctor, see if you can get physical therapy or occupational therapy approved for them. These are small steps, but they can make a huge difference. I've also created a fall-proof home checklist that we're going to add to the website, but I can also email it to you. So you can use it when you go home to kind of evaluate the home and make sure everything's as it should be. Remember, preventing falls for our loved ones. That is true love in action. So my mom's doing okay. Her head is healing. I think she gets her staples out next week. And, you know, she's pretty much back to her normal self. But this experience has really reminded me why I do what I do. And we can't stop aging. We can't stop gravity, although I wish we could at times, but we can stop a preventable tragedy like this. So whether you're caring for a parent, a spouse, or yourself, remember you're not alone. There's help out there. Please share this because I think it's so important. Share it with your friends, family, neighbors, whoever, siblings. Just share this information with people because we want to prevent falls. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you'll get all of our podcasts each Friday when they drop. And we will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening.